gassed up. Holy moly, lonely only when I'm coldly zoning. Cozy in my holy home without my homie ceremonies. Owning in my own, roaming through my dome. Hoping that I'm only throwing stones to get you going. Maybe you could clone me, break the ache and make me hate the way forsaken snakes take their stake in what I make and break it. Maybe lay it on a plate, maybe shoot it out in space to watch it die. Either way, I ain't trying to lie.
Listening to All Gassed Up by Wes. Getting the show started.
Taking a second to look into everything I can just bury beneath all the hate and the good in the way that they want to just make me believe in anything they can conceive. Keep it inside and freak with the flow. Can be your ride, I'll open the door. When be your rival, look at my soul. Nothing to see, nothing to know. Don't you know me, homie? I'll be on these lonely roads, riding with my dumpies open.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to DYOR Live here on the DYOR Media Network. My name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking, here in the digital media world. So glad to be hosting another episode of this great show that comes to you every day at noon here on the best channel in the whole wide world. Anyway, it is July 9th, 2025, ladies and gentlemen. That's right, getting closer to Christmas. Target and everybody is moving in their Christmas inventory right now. Today is a show topic we talked about yesterday. Blockchain bonanza. Blockchain bonanza. Why do we have so many blockchains? We've got, just to name them, we got BTC, we got Solana, Ethereum, Matic, Avalanche, Base, Algorand, Cardano, Link, Dot, more, and new ones every day. Pedro and I are going to talk about what's going on with them, what's to come with them. Do we need so many? Are they going to merge? Most businesses, you see a whole bunch of startups and then they sort the good from the bad and then strong survive at the end. So we'll talk about that. And of course, in the land of BTC, Bitcoin is still just trading in that idiot box. Not much going on with that. Waiting for either a big breakout or a big correction. Pedro will talk about that as well, but I'm going to try and ensure I have his microphone on correctly this time and not screw that up again. Good morning, Pedro. Oh, he can't hear me.
No, I can hear you. I'm just messing with you. Dude.
The meter's going boop, 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 boop. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, the man in the box, Pedro Garcia, the crypto chart analyst. What's happening, Pedro?
What's up, dude? I just got off the phone with my, one of the assistants with my doctor, right? And guy's a nice guy. He's actually called me a couple times to reach me. I just haven't been able to link up with him. So he calls me and got to reschedule. And in the military, you're always messing. There's this point where it's abusive, harassment. And then there's all right, you're just harassing because you're a bunch of guy friends. And then there's that gray line of is this going to be harassment, abuse that they're going to remember for the rest of their life? But it's still kind of funny, right? And it's as guys, we kind of play in between that, that little gray area, when we start to mess with each other. Well, I crossed it with him.
Oh, really? So surprised.
It was actually kind of funny. He's like, well, most people are kind of more professional. And I said, oh, I'm sorry. I go, were you ever in the military? And he's just like, no. And because I go to the VA and stuff. It was the funniest thing because he was just I felt bad. I mean, obviously it was a little too much for him, but I just thought it was kind of funny. Anyways,
good morning, Crypto Mike. Thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it on Rumble. We need 20 unique chatters this month. You are one of them. We need you to bring in a friend or two or an alt account, whichever it is, to help us with the chat numbers so we can retain our creator status and making that fat stacks of cash, reading the ads. And yes, that was that intro is the do stuff, as I call. Another viewer 4 or 5 years ago said, "Hey, that sounds like 70s porn music," and I said, "I'm sticking with it." Wasn't the kick tracks, Pedro. It was that other intro that I do. Your screen is blank, Pedro.
I don't know what to tell you. I'll check it. Let's see. I actually have Crow up. And I don't understand why it is.
Yeah, hold on. Let me reload this thing here.
It should be, everything shows it's cool. Oh, I'm looking at the studio feed. I show it. I am like maybe a millisecond behind. I can see like when I move my hand, it like a little, just a small delay, but I don't think it's that noticeable.
Hold on, let me.
Up, and that's probably what's messing you up.
Oh, you've got, it says camera turned off.
No, my camera's on. How is that possible? Now it's on, off, on, off, on, off.
Oh no, not on that. Not on that one. On your screen feed.
Yeah, my screen feed says it's. Let me. Okay, video sources off. Screen. Oh, why is this being a douche? I don't know, last few days I feel like trolling people. I don't know why I feel like trolling people lately. Dude, I freaking went on X to one of the things, and one of these guys actually who came in was trolling me when I was doing Full Rant Friday, right? And so I saw him go on, so I started trolling him a little. And it was funny, dude. He was fucking upset. And he kicked me out. But it was like one of those moments I was like, can't handle the fire, dude. You can give it, but you can't take it. All right, share screen.
At the bottom of the screen, there's a camera on/off button. What does it say?
Says it's on. Give me 1 second. I'm just resharing it again.
You know what? I'm gonna reload the director page.
All right. What about now? Okay, there it goes.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
you got it.
I was weird because all I did was repress it on screen share.
Yeah, something was weird because I could see it in the studio software, but not in the virtual studio. Very weird. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we're back at it here.
I know what I did wrong. Instead of hitting hide, I hit stop sharing. That's what I did wrong. Sorry about that. That wasn't my bad. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. That is this guy's fault. This guy with the thumbs issue. For that one, that was not a Thomas issue. That was a Pedro issue. All right. So let's go over Bitcoin here real quick, and then we can go right into the stuff that we wanted to. Real quick, news-wise, which I thought was really interesting. We can go into Bitcoin in a second. But what did your thoughts? What were your thoughts? Have you gone through the news? Better question to ask.
Some news, not all of them. Did you just draw a streak on the screen?
No. I didn't draw nothing. Oh, I see it. Why is there...
Whose screen is that
it's
on?
It looks like a black line. Like somebody just drew a black... I have no idea, bro. I don't even know what to do. That's not me. That's not a Pedro issue. There it goes.
Oh, it's on the pricing screen. All right, I'll fix it.
Oh, I get it. Yeah, it must be...
I don't know how that happened, but we'll fix it.
Sometimes it happens. Whoop, whoop. Alrighty. I apologize, my peoples. All you guys who turned in to get this dope information, and I'm out here just joking around.
Rambling.
I'm rambling. I went to the gym, really worked my legs today because it's Wednesday, leg day. Boom. And you can't do Wednesday. You can't do Monday leg day because then the whole entire week you're just screwed over, right? Like the last part of the week, because then Thursday you start to feel the sore. Friday you were like, oh dear Jesus, and then you got the weekend to recover. Anyhow, enough with my rambling. Let's go check out Bitcoin. Okay, so one of the things we've talked about is just lack of volume, and we're just kind of staying in this range between that 109 to about 107, a 2,000 point range, which is driving most people in crypto absolutely bonkers. At least when we're ranging, it's probably like a 5 to 10,000 point, range. Like look, between 100 to 110, boom, came back down 100, right? Went up to 109, came back down to 98, and then we shot back up. But the last few days, it's just been just like meh, meh, meh. Meh. And so like it drives, and for traders it drives us nuts because you're just like, let's go, come on, and it's like hurry up and wait here in the morning. And so one of the things I always say during these time periods, you just want to be careful here, especially if you're day trading. Go and I always tell everybody, look, I look for a 4-to-1 ratio, but during squishy times like this, right, I'm looking for 2-to-1, 1-to-1, 2-to-1, almost like the plays that we play when we take for liquidity pools, right? When it takes out and we're just looking for a quick cash. During times like this, when I start to just see everything just drop off and we see the range just consolidate and just get smaller, you just go in and you're just looking just to partake in the move. And a lot, that home run that you're looking for, 5-to-1 and above, right? Or I wouldn't call it even a 5-to-1. It's 6-to-1 and above, right? It's like that home run. If you can, risk $100 and you can make $400, $300, that's a good day. Ask Tom, he does it all the time. And so, in that same sense, when it gets like this, you want to take profit quick, especially when you start to see on the daily chart that you're not having higher highs and lower lows. It's just staying in this range here. And so when that time happens, which in every market you see this, it's not something that is going to go away. And one of the statistics, I remember I was reading through it, the market 40% of the time picks a direction, and 60% of the time it consolidates. And so if you think about that, that's 20% either going in one direction or another direction. So 20% probably goes up, 20% probably goes down, and then the rest of the 60% is just consolidating and building a position to continue. And if you ask anybody who studies any type of charting, especially if it's smart money, he talks about, right, with smart money trading, that is the consolidation and then the expansion and then either a retracement and or a pullback, right? And then you start the whole entire thing all over again. And so it's kind of like where we're at right now. And my hope is this, that I am wrong, that we're not going to come down, okay? And that we're going to see it push up. And so, and what is exciting me is that everybody knows what started off the first last year's last bull run. What was the coin that signaled, okay, this thing's getting up and running, let's go, right? Do you remember, Tom, by chance?
Well, I think if I recall, are you talking about like 2021? Yeah. It was BNB started booming because everyone was buying it to get into SafeMoon. That was and then Bitcoin launched after that too. I probably have things in the wrong order, but that's how I remember it.
Okay, it's all right, even though it's wrong, and I'm always right. Sorry. No, it was, if you look at the series, the first one that really got it going was Crow. And then from there, you really saw like Crow pump, and then you saw BNB really pick up and get going. And then after that, you actually saw a lot of the other ones really, like you said, Bitcoin and Ethereum really started pumping. Well, this good little pump that we had yesterday with Crow really kind of got me excited, because I was expecting us to fall through right here and come down here into the 7. I talked about my woe of not, I got distracted and whatever, and missed this pump last two nights ago. So, but with that said, a good little pump like this kind of, I hope, is an indication of, yeah, they've already put their positions in, and now they're getting ready to pump. Right. And so, like, the fingers crossed on that, if that's true, and Crow's starting, right? And we talked about the other day, BNB, right? It looks like it's starting to, it should be going down further, but it's not. BNB is showing some strength. right? And we're like, that's nice for us. We want to see that. So like fingers crossed to sit there and say this potentially could be that moment where we're going to start seeing some big moves happen in the market. Altcoin, I've heard multiple people say like altcoin ain't going to happen. And we'll find out, but I think we do. I think we're going to have an altcoin season. I think the banks want an altcoin season, like all that money that's going into the treasury. Forgive me, I keep burping now again.
The banks are unhappy that all this cash is going to Circle and Tether. Well, not so much Circle, because Circle puts a lot of that cash in the bank too.
Right back in, yeah.
But Tether, that money goes basically mostly overseas and gets sent around. Does buy a lot of bonds, but it's not being held by U.S. banks. It's being held by investment banks. You might have gone on mute there.
Sorry. I just realized that I actually I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm not wearing that shirt. Why is... I realize I'm on the wrong one. That makes complete sense now. I was like, what's going on? Alrighty. So yeah, with all that said, I'm a bit ADD today. But BNB is starting to get some little pumpage. It's not dropping there. It's starting to continue up, and we're kind of seeing it move up. So at times when it starts to get going, I feel like, like you said, maybe the banks don't like because all the money's leaving. But if I'm a bankster and I now can partake in something that literally gives me a 500 to 1,000% increase, literally within 3 months, 4 months, I would definitely want to be a part of that. And now that they can, because a lot of the regulations within crypto or within the government is pretty much non-existent now. So there's really nothing that's stopping them to really kind of push forward here and get involved in crypto. What's nice about it is that as I'm looking at it, instead of trying to sit there and say, because we don't have enough volume coming down.
Yeah, I was looking at that on your chart. That's very interesting that the summer started early for BNB.
Yeah, but here's the thing, like we're still kind of moving up, and I might have to change my mindset. And the fact is that whenever you have low volume coming in as we're moving up, potentially, that means that maybe they're just getting ready to push it up during a bull market because there's not enough. Not enough sellers. Typically, you need sellers for a market to push up because the buyers need to buy from somebody. And when there's a lack of sellers, then the market will go down to create sellers for buyers to buy up to then push it up, right? I talk about that in more of a fundamental analysis when it comes to chart trading. I don't see that because fundamental analysis is more of the efficient market. It's hard for me to. I got to figure out another word to use to help people, like a fundamental technical analysis view, like that. Like the theory behind it is that buyers and sellers are what rule, and a lack of buyers makes the market go down, or makes the market go up, and a lack of sellers makes the market go. Opposite way. The lack of buyers will make a market sell off, and a lack of sellers will make a market. Why I said the same thing? Why am I saying it, dude?
I'm just letting you go with this one here.
Yeah, a lack of sellers will make a market go down, and a lack of buyers will make a market go up. Okay, that's a great way of putting it, because there's an over plethora of the other side, and so you need to have an opposite effect to get institutions to move a market in that manner. Anybody who runs a MEV bot system understands, like, they look for liquidity, right? So wherever the liquidity is at is where they're going to go towards. So as I'm looking into this market here, I'm just I just hope it moves up. This is a little hopium. I'm not long really anything per se. Me and Tom are going to be setting up a futures system where we can actually pick one and really start trading it. But other than that, I just, I've been buying and holding for the last 3 years, and I want to see it move up. And It could be I'm just jaded there, but
It could be that you're just jaded. No.
nah. I'm messing with the poor scheduling guy who's calling me for my doctor. I'm not jaded. Poor kid. But it's like you see, it's just kind of consolidating. Potentially, we can reach the next high here. So fingers crossed on that. All right. So I'm just kind of rambling here. Ultimately, as we watch our viewership just plummet through the ground here, because they're like, what is this guy talking about, dude? All right. But I think we could be seeing a potential push up instead of a drop here. It's staying above that 8-period moving average.
What did you switched back to Bitcoin.
Yeah.
You gotta mention that.
Yeah, my bad. Sorry. I switched to Bitcoin. But you can see here, it's staying above that 8-period. And even though there's a lack of volume there, it's showing some strength. I mean, meaning the market is moving up, not necessarily conviction when it comes to volume, but it is showing some strength that it's moving up. So when I say moving up, I just mean it's closing green, right? And you're seeing more green than red on the chart. So, but yeah, I'm like, come on, dude. And so looking at that weekly chart, it's like, it's just gonna move. Maybe they're just kind of waiting for the claims for jobs this week. Could be that too as well. Waiting just for tomorrow. Waiting on tomorrow. All right. Here we go. So any cool news today, man?
One of the things that I was tracking, Pedro, was yesterday we spoke about Tornado Cash and the U.S. government dropping its efforts and saying, all right, enough, and they capitulated on it. I wasn't exactly correct on that. It turns out that Tornado Cash is still being, in fact, where's the guy's name here? Federal judge in the District of New York blocked any mention of a key court victory for crypto privacy experts during the criminal trial of Ethereum coin mixer Tornado Cash's developer, Roman Storm. Back in March, there was a key decision that said immutable smart contracts are not actually owned by anybody anymore. Once you send out a contract and you revoke it and you don't own it, nobody owns it. And so you're not responsible for it or its use. And the federal court said, hey, first of all, this is speech. Second of all, if you don't own it, you don't own it. It's like if you build a house and then you sell it or give it away and then the house is used as a drug house, but they can't come after you. And that court decision was a big one for Tornado Cash. But the judge in this current case against Roman Storm said, we're not going to allow that decision in your trial. And he just said it's a key, or not a key thing, it's irrelevant, it'll just confuse the jury. It literally is the defense's thing here to say, look, the other court just ruled that this way, and the court's like, nah, we don't care about that court. And so however Roman Storm gets convicted, will be set up for an appeal that if internet Twitter or X legal minds are correct, would be immediately overruled by an appellate court. So Tornado Cash still having some problems with the U.S. government, even though around the world sanctions are dropping. Interestingly enough, though, Pedro, on the screen next to me here is Oscar Ramos. Oh, he just switched off it. He's moved to an ad. Anyway, he was covering the Senate Banking Committee, Senate Financial Services Committee, hearing about crypto. And it was Elizabeth Warren and crew going at it. The Republicans had to give her time because she's allowed time as a ranking member to talk. And she brought in the oldest, crappiest, I shouldn't say crappiest, cringeworthiest people to testify in her favor. And she just came out and said President Trump is making billions and billions of dollars on his meme coin, and that every dollar sent to it goes in his pocket.
Oh my goodness, are you serious?
And so it's
She really
clear
said something like that.
she and the witness said the same thing. Said, yeah, he's just going to make billions and billions and billions. It's on public record that he made $57 million from
Yeah, literally, that's it.
Right.
And it wasn't even off of that. It was just off of the business side that he
gets a marketing fee. Right.
Yeah.
He doesn't get the money that goes in the liquidity pool. In fact, if anyone takes the money from the liquidity pool, the SEC likes to go after those people. It's not their money. But anyway, that's not the point. It just shows that the government is, as far as we're getting going here, we've got the Clarity Act coming down the road. The Genius Act passed the Senate and is just getting ready to pass the House, I believe. There's still problems in the U.S. government with people thinking that this is all just craziness. Elizabeth Warren actually said, and her witness talked about it too, is that if crypto grows, if we put these new regulations in place, it will allow crypto to grow under a regulated environment, and that would be bad because crypto would grow. And like you could see the other people in the room going, they're hit, the brain's leaking out their ears going, wait a minute, wait. It's time for you to retire, Elizabeth, because what you said just doesn't make any sense. We want to regulate it, bring laws and regulations to it. It will allow it to grow within those laws. And if people go outside those laws, we will wham, 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 hammer them. And she just came out and said, well, all growth is bad, regulated or not. And so that's when you throw in the towel and you go, all right, we just got to write you off. So that's what has happened in the news this morning regarding that. Those are obviously things that I track regarding crypto and that type of stuff. I did notice that some numbers came out for crude oil, which in crude oil inventories were I don't know how to interpret the numbers. I just know they were way different than planned. But the market didn't move that much in crude oil this morning. Forex Factory put out 7.5 instead of an expected 1.5 or something like that, and the market didn't move. Although when those numbers came out, Bitcoin tanked. I shouldn't say tanked. I just should say went on a stop hunt down. I don't know if they were correlated at all, but so check out those numbers. Tell me if they're what they mean. It was one of the numbers that Forex mentioned was coming out today, so I watched it.
Yeah. So typically, if there's more supply of oil within the area in which they refine it, and there's a specific area in not Massachusetts, in Michigan, I believe, where they like hover over, and then if there's more oil in there, then that means there's more supply, which then makes the market go down. If there's less supply than what they think, then that makes the market go up, right? Because that means there's not enough supply, which means price should go up. It's kind of some arbitrary BS stuff. We actually have better ways to actually create that same report. But again, just like crypto, which is more efficient, it's just, there's, it's like, come on, like, there's, anyways. So long story short, that's how you interpret a lot of those numbers there. So you can see here with crude oil, they had 7 million barrels less, right? They were expecting, I guess, 0.17, and there was additional a lot.
Oh, the number went down.
Yeah, so it would make the market go up typically. Yeah, and so that's it in a nutshell. Or excuse me, there was more than what they expected, which meant that there's an additional supply, right? Which means that would be a negative amount. So that's about it in a nutshell. This was the forecast that was going to be 0.17, increase, and it was 7 milli. And they're like, holy moly, what's going on?
How do they get that wrong?
Sometimes, like I said, it's literally in a tank. It's this giant tank thing, and people send things over, and then they release it and go. It is actually, it's arcade. It's like Swift and blockchain. It's like that is a great way of explaining how we calculate that oil supply, or the crude oil supply, and I think it's hilarious. Like it's like, And there are literally these high buzzards, like infrared people who have this guy. I watched this whole entire documentary of literally this guy. He charges hundreds of thousands of dollars. He has the state-of-the-art like infrared light, so he can actually penetrate to gauge typically where it's going to be. And major speculators pay this man.
You mean levels in a tank? How much oil is? Yeah. I get you can see on the thermal camera from when where a liquid's level is in a tank.
But you're not allowed to, right? Like up to a certain point, just like when you go out to sea, right? What is it? If you go out to sea further, you have the international line that's part of it, right? Well, I guess if you're like an American or something like that, you can fly over it, but you have to be like way above, like I forget, like the guy was talking, and I just thought it was interesting. And so there's this like little line and there's a whole entire industry, man. And these drones are so powerful. It's like they spend literally millions of dollars because people make billions of dollars trading crude oil. It's a trip.
Well, if you knew that number before it came out, you play the option market. You can, you can bet $1 million and make $5 million.
That's crazy.
Month after month after
month. Yeah.
But you got to get the million in the first place, and so that's what we're here talking about on DYOR. So welcome everyone that's watching on all of the various outlets that we're on today. Specifically, our good friends at Rumble. Thank you very much for everyone over there. This is DYOR Live here on the DYOR Media Network. And you're watching Pedro and Striking talk about crypto, politics, digital assets, investing, day trading, etc. And every day we try to have some theme of the show. And yesterday Pedro mentioned that he's been doing some talk about blockchains and stuff like that. So that'll be the theme of the day, and we'll get into that, talking about what's going on with the various blockchains, why do they even exist, and should they even exist, and however we want to BS about them. But we encourage questions. It's an interactive show. If you're watching this on the replay, put a question down in the comment. We read them. We get back to you on it. So as I said in my comments here, welcome everyone. Please like, share, follow, subscribe, comment. Just do it.
Just
do it. Not going to ask you to do it. We're telling you to do it. So do it, please.
Well, I'm asking. I don't want to be rude unless I'm messing with you. So I'm typically the consummate nice guy. He'll yell at you though. I don't want him to yell at you. So when you guys do it, so that he doesn't have to yell at you.
But on the trading front, I'm just kind of hitting a few topics here, Pedro, before we get into the blockchain stuff.
Yes, sir.
Haven't really been talking a lot about BTC trading all week because it hasn't been in trading, as Pedro mentioned earlier, trading in a zone that's conducive for the models that I have been allowing myself to trade real world money with. And those generally are large stop hunts. And once that happens, getting the reversals on those. There's been little ones, lots of little ones, that type of stuff. And also the 8 and 21 moving averages crossing, along with price action, crossing back up over the 200 moving average. And we've been trading in these little zones that has been happening. But I've found, Pedro, that it has to happen a certain amount of time after the last time it happened. Otherwise, it's ineffective, or it just doesn't play out, and you get your failure rate in there. So I've been doing a lot of watching and learning this week on that, and trying to make a few bucks elsewhere.
Well, I think one of the things, and pardon me, I think one of the things it's so important to pay attention to. That was fun right there, dude. I'm messing with all y'all. No, I think what's really important to understand when it comes to that is when you're in a tight range, like I said, I'm not looking for home runs.
Right.
And it's really important to understand. You can sit there and see this really clear on the daily chart. That's why I look at the daily chart so much, is that it keeps that that meta perspective in your trading. And so if I'm not seeing closing towards the high and creating new highs and new lows, then we're not, it's consolidating. So it's important to look at that daily chart to see where you're sitting and go, oh wow, look, this is where it's at. we're not continuing up, or nor are we continuing down. We're not even an extended range where we were at prior, where it's like you would have 10,000 points, and each day it would move about 2 to 3,000, but in a direction that you knew it was going to go up and hit the high point here and then come back down. Right now, it's just kind of sitting in the upper part of the range on Bitcoin, and so that just makes it hard to really trade because it's not extending to a point. Right, it's just sitting right up here, and it's just kind of hard to squeak out some cash. At least here you can squeak out some cash as it moves up. Here in that little small range, you're just like, bruh, bruh, come on.
Well, we did have this morning, Bitcoin just kind of out of nowhere decided to pump. Not tied to any number release timing unless someone was front running it, and it did cross the weekly open. Which is usually a bullish sign if you're trading below it all week. Like you say, Pedro, if it goes down the beginning of the week, it literally went down from the weekly open to trade below it, and then it went up, started going up a little bit into the zone, and today cracked the weekly open, but we didn't get the big pump after that. Now it's actually retraced back. Just doing, as they say, doing the back and forth type stuff. But it was hopeful that weekly open staying below that and going above it is, falls into Pedro's mantra. If it goes lower at the beginning of the week, it's going to go up in the end of the week.
And that's one of the things I definitely look at it, and it's a good enough. You can go back and look at the charts. Go back and just do your own back study, and you'll see what I'm saying. It's about 50+% where it's like you can. I would say probably like 56, 57% of chance that it's most likely going to end that way. Now, your odds increase based off of moving averages or whatever metrics that you use to pull your data so you can get your edge, right? But ultimately, you could play that play where it's like, okay, we started at the bottom going down Sunday and Monday. We're gonna, buy in around those lows, and by the end of the week, you should at least be all the way above, if not way above, based off of that movement. Now, if you're above the moving averages, and in addition to that, you see an increase in volume as it moves. In addition to that, you also see that we're in a trend on the weekly. In relationship to that, and also on the monthly, you have a higher chance of it happening that way. Also, if you break up your monthly into 4 weeks, remember I always talk about you need a bottom wick, you need a body, and you need a top wick. And so if you understand that it's creating the bottom wick first, then you can go correlate that to, all right, from a weekly standpoint, I know within that month I'm kind of at the bottom here. That's why you always see me looking on that weekly chart in relationship to that monthly, because then it correlates to me what we're most likely going to do that day. And so then I can day trade even easier, knowing that, okay, we're in the bottom part of this candle. It should go down a little bit further and then see it pick up. So that's why I'm always looking at those small details when you see me combing through the monthly, that weekly chart. And so I just want to know where we're at. Like as Tom said perfectly, right? Where we first went down here and we touched, and then we didn't get that liquidity. This reason why I'm a little iffy is because we didn't hit the liquidity pool. And so that's why I'm like, I don't know about that. It should have hit this. It should have pulled that, but it didn't. So now I'm like, we'll see what's up. But ultimately, we're in this trading range here, so it's real fun. Now, the other question I want to ask about news: did you see that the CEO of X resigned?
No, I did not. Was it a lady?
It was Linda. I forget. Yakar.
You get a new job, or did she just get lost?
I don't know. I just don't know. I know with everything that's going on. I mean, I thought she wasn't necessarily super friends with Elon Musk, but she wasn't necessarily, obviously he's her boss, but it wasn't like she had a negative relationship to him. So I don't think it's negative in nature, but it might be just that, a lot of people complaining that Grok might be too right-wing now, right? And so like they're just upset. I was listening to the guy who does Altazar News Network,
Yep.
and it was cracking me up because he's like, I don't like Grok now because it's too left leaning, and now I'm no longer right when I ask it questions. Someone's complaining. And I was like, dude, like, come on, man. So, and I've seen this also on enough AI programs that I watch that are basically saying, yeah, it's starting to lean a little to the excuse me, not left, but to the right. It's a little to the right, more conservative than what it's been. And so potentially it could be just I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to sit there and gauge because it only gets its feed literally off of whatever is being fed on X. And if the majority of it is liberals, more of a liberal stance, then that's where it's going to be fed, right? And so that's where it's going to lean. If it leans more to the right, it's going to feed off that right. So it's going to be real interesting to see how it is. Also, I thought it was really also interesting that the United States announced its tariffs on the following countries, but they're not like anything major countries, you know, like I was expecting something like China or India or a few of these other ones, right? But I mean, Iraq, obviously 30%, Libya, 30%. Give me 1 second. There's the dead cats. Brunel, 25%. I don't know if I'm saying the country wrong. Please forgive me if I am. Algeria, 30%. Moldova, 25%. The Philippines, 20%.
Poor Moldova.
What's up?
Poor Moldova. They're just screwed. They're surrounded on 3 sides by Ukraine, and then the other side, but by Romania, I guess. They're just having a tough go at it. Just when things were starting to look good a few years ago.
For them.
Yeah, and then because Mr. Putin's strategy in Ukraine was larger than was generally reported, he put troops into Moldova. So with the idea that they would push in from the southwest side of the Ukraine too. And so they've had separatist problems, and he tried the same thing there. They tried in the east of Ukraine, and it's created just those poor people. They just get no breaks. They're Lenin's bitch, then Stalin's bitch, and now they're Putin's bitch. Moldovans, get yourself a good government there. End the corruption.
That's funny. You're like, you're all Stalin's bitch, and they were
Lenin's bitch. Or Hitler's bitch for a while too. I mean, it was.
Got me cracking up here. Poor guys, man. Imagine if America was stuck in the middle, right? Imagine if Mexico and South America became super tough, right? America, let's say America's dominance never happened, right? And we, and instead of Argentina going more of the social standpoint, they stayed more free capital. I mean, America potentially and Mexico was become a juggernaut. Dude, America would be it would have been weaker, right? Without California, Nevada,
right?
All the way up. It's just that was major gold that really built up our during our reserves and stuff like that. So the reason I bring this up is imagine if we were to get stuck between Canada, and freaking Mexico and South America, and we were like, it would just be like, I mean, you talk about alternate universes, right? Multiverse. It's one of those multiverses that happened. You know what I'm saying? And like America is just like, hey guys, almost like Moldova.
Some dudes over in France. Oh, those poor Americans, just stuck between Mexico with Garcia as president of Mexico and Herlihy president of Canada there. They're just giving the screws to the States all the time.
Sorry, it was cracking me up. My brain just goes weird. I don't know why. I'm like choking over here. Also, Senator Tom Scott says blockchain technology and digital assets are not going away. They are here to stay. There you go. This was during the Warren's little rant. Thought that was really funny. And he made it very somber the way he said it. He is, has that deep voice.
I have to imagine Elizabeth Warren's getting a difficult time. All the people that used to testify for her are now like, I'm busy. Well, give me a call in 3.5 years, and I'll let you know.
We'll see. We'll find out what's going to happen. Yeah, she died. She's dying on that hill, man. And and the more and more people realize like how bomb blockchains are, and this is a good way to segment turn. It's one of those things that it's almost becoming like, yeah, this is honestly should have happened a long time ago. And anybody who's willing to die, which is probably going to be the far left, on that hill, blockchain bad because Orange Man likes it. It's just, you're not going to get that vote. And as soon as the regular populace really realize the amount of money you can make just simply staking on a blockchain and receive those rewards, we're talking additional 1% to 2% easily. Some of these, man, I'm up to 20% just to stake. Like, I'm like, yeah, click on pretty decent blockchains. So it just makes sense to sit there and go, if you're in traditional finance, why would you not allocate 10% to that of your portfolio? You're making 20% on it, and that's a low yield in regards to a lot of yields in relationship to blockchain. So, and that's not even including, let's say on that blockchain, they also give out coins that are launched on that blockchain for you staking. You can sit there and say, instead of getting a stake of the actual coin, I'd rather get coins that are launched on that blockchain, and you can receive, like, crypto.com does it. Speaking of crypto.com, did you hear about them? See if I can pull it up here.
Sorry, I was just having another ambulance go by. Must be more gang shootings. It's just going by all morning.
Did you hear about again, I got this on the Tom Bilyeu's show the other day. The guy in Baltimore, the mayor of Baltimore, the current mayor, he literally dropped inner city violence and gang-related shootings by almost 50%. And you know how he did it?
Put dudes in jail?
No.
Give everyone bulletproof vests?
Nope.
No.
I talk about it all the time, about how you need to solve the issue within the inner city.
Got a good foster parent program going?
Partly. What he did is he established inner city programs and literally allowed people, he basically gave subsidies so people could actually be in the children's lives. That's simple. If a young man between the ages of 10 to 12 and 14, like, you don't want to go to a gang, but it's the only strong male role model that you can see where you live.
Right.
And so that's where you're going to get drawn to, especially when you're looking for identity as a person. And so he basically just put up a bunch of new ways of giving identity. And it literally dropped almost by 50%. Dude, within 3.5 years since he's been mayor. It was real high, stayed high, was high. And from the moment he got in and started establishing these protocols, bro, it literally flipped things around. And I'm a huge proponent because I come from it. Right. And the reason why I'm not in jail, and the majority of my brothers were in jail or spent, because I have 5 brothers, right, was literally because I was clear enough to sit there and go, you know what? That guy's really cool. I like him. And he took a liking to me. And lucky for me, it put me into the finance and put me into other things. And my brain just started to wire that way. And the guy showed strong guy, independent guy. So it just made me sit there and go, you know what? That works. And it's that simple. It really is not that hard. It's really not. You just got to go out there, men got to step up and become basically father figures to other like inner city boys. Straight up. It really is that simple.
Pedro,
I'm on my soapbox.
did you? I bet you didn't know that we had a shooting the other day here in Chicago in which 14 people were shot.
No, I did not. I'm so sorry.
You know why? Just nobody cares anymore. Anderson Cooper from CNN doesn't fly in. Oh my God. You know, MSNBC people aren't here. Oh my God, what's going on? This is the culture that you need to break with that. There was a party for a rap star. Okay, first problem. At a downtown nightclub. And what happened was a drive-by shooting came by from another, because rap stars are all identified with gangs now. Rival gang came by, and they have good video of it, of just mowing everyone down with machine guns. Mowing everyone down. The rap star, this, you know, crack whore lady type person, her dad was now arrested because he's a gun smuggler and sells guns, buys them in Alabama and sells guns on the streets in Chicago. And he's the one, he was selling guns to help finance the record deal or the rap deal for his daughter. And then, because they're affiliated with a gang, a rival gang comes by and uses probably some of the guns that he sold onto the street to mow them all down. There's 14 people, just people standing out in the street. A lot of the people standing in the street had nothing to do with the gang. They were just in line because they wanted to go see their person that sings one of their favorite songs.
Yeah, that is real.
I mean, I mean, how do you break that culture? Just
It's two ways. One, you start at this moment. You can't just sit there and say you can't reach the person already in it. But what you do is you can limit their exposure to the younger generation.
Oh, see, here comes the ambulance again.
But in additionally to that, I'm sorry, I'm done with my fruit. Forgive me for that. I just need to get some little sugar in my brain. Help me focus a little here. So one of the things I think you could do, and I think it's like super important, is limit the exposure of gangs, right? Like say, look, if you're not XYZ, you're not allowed here, and keep it very enforced. Make sure there's cops there. Second, you need to go through and allow for real citywide, not necessarily statewide, nor do I mean government-wise. They can help with subsidies, but it's got to be a citywide initiative within whether it's churches or nonprofit organizations where they actually go through and interact. And this is key. Who are the primary people that are in prison who do this? These are young men, typically Hispanic, African, and Asian descent men who get stuck in the inner city who don't have fathers. And so if you put your efforts towards that, and you've seen now multiple cities do this, in particular the highlight is literally Baltimore, but you see crime drop within 5 to 10 years dramatically because the gangs dry up. You get veteranos who either who die off, unfortunately, right? That's just part of if you're in a gang, you get mowed down. But also in the same sense, what happens is those other people do what? They get put in jail.
Go to the joint.
And so it cleans up itself, kind of like, because they basically eat themselves up. Now, also in jail, you need to create real initiatives within jail where you, like, I actually am a huge proponent in how the guy in El Salvador makes, I'm not saying to the extent where he literally doesn't let them sleep and there's no lights out or whatever. I think it's way excessive, but we're also dealing with MS-13 and a lot of the other South American gangs that have the similar situation, right? But at least here in America, You could sit there, say, look, you're a red ragger and you're a black man. All right, you're going in with a blue ragger who's an Asian man. And if there are any issues or problems, then it will be bad for both you guys. Right? And you're entitled to the Bible or education that is literally self-help. There's no and you guys have to learn to work each other out. I mean, you need to learn to work things out between each other. Instead of fisting, you learn how to communicate. And I think those certain projects, those certain initiatives within jail would change a lot of, and whether it's the Quran, the Bible, whatever religion you want, you can get, but you have to pick it. And the interplay between the gangs need to be displaced. What happens is people go to jail. That's where you make your connections. That's where you actually talk and know somebody else who knows somebody else who links you up with someone who's a drug cartel.
That whole jail thing is messed up. They need to, purpose of going to jail is to sit in a cell and not interact with people. Say no interaction with anyone. Rebuild the jails into like little container huts, and you just live there by yourself. You get a screen with a Khan Academy on it, and the more you complete Khan Academy, the shorter your stay. No meeting gangs, no meeting anyone else, no talking to anyone else.
Well, here's the thing. I think that's wrong. You need to have people talking to each other, but you need to join. It needs to be supervised. Yeah, and the thing key is you need to bring people across. You need, people don't realize jail is extremely racist.
Yeah, I know. None of that. No mixing, no nothing. Yeah. You're just in a room. Not solitary confinement. You just have your own little tiny room. Just you got a computer. You did good on Khan Academy. You can't read? Go. You do reading first. Do that. Yeah. None of this. We're getting in a sinkhole here today, Pedro.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah,
unrecoverable.
No, we can. Let's go into it because within the hour. So let's go over a lot of these blockchains that we were going to go over, and it'll be cool. But I think the real key here is if you're going to really want to change the world, you got to start with each child. It's the child, that generation. And if they have father, and we already know statistically if there's a lack of a father, even if it's an abusive father, this is the part that's so crazy. Even if you have an abusive father, those kids, if you look at the people who don't have fathers and the kids who have abusive fathers to okay fathers to somewhat good to really good, the kids who don't have fathers literally end up worse than even than the abusive than with the fathers who were abusive. And which is crazy, shout out to you, Cleo. Thank you. But in the same sense, I look at that and I go, it's important to sit there and see the nuances there, and to sit there and say, women, you do a great job, but you weren't meant to bear that alone. When you have a young man and he starts to get to that age of 12, 13, he starts to buck against everything. That's like the Jewish. They send him off to Jewish camp. Off to Jewish camp. Off you go. You got to learn. You got to learn this stuff the right way, and not for some idiot on the street that may believe in Jesus. So they're like, whoop, off to Jewish camp. And that's a lot of these inner city kids. You just go, oh, you're 12. All right, you got 4 years in Montana, and it's school, and none of this street business shit. That's just, but it can't be that way. You need to be more. Anyways, let's check out here real quick with Plum. So the first blockchain that we've seen.
Hold on. Let's do this right, Pedro. Ladies and gentlemen, the theme for the show today is blockchain bonanza. Blockchain bonanza, and I have this great thumbnail of these people representing all the different blockchains, and I know AI got their logos all goofed up, but the point is that there's a lot of them, and they all kind of look the same with a little differences. Like these ones are blonde or brunette or in a mix of something. The colors are just slightly different. The logos are slightly different, but they're all, to many people, seem kind of the same. Pedro, what on earth is going on with all these blockchains, and why do we care?
Well, because some of these blockchains are going to have little meme coins that are explode, and right now they're sitting at about 500,000, maybe a couple mil. And if these blockchains right now are starting to see the last 30 days, we've seen a lot of volume come into them. So coming up to at the very top, we're starting off at number 10. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Starting off with the top of the 15 was going to be Plum. And so this is one of those blockchains that's had quite a bit of volume pickup over the last month. You can see here. Excuse me, Bloom, not Blum. Plum.
Plume.
Whatever.
Plume.
There you go. That's my.
Although it might be Plum, but everyone in a different country pronounces it differently. Which I've never even heard of. We do this every day. I've never heard of Plume.
That's my job. I'm supposed to bring the alpha to y'all. So we've seen this increase in volume over the last month. We saw it die off as it come in. But look, as I always say, right, if it goes down at the beginning of the month, we should see a pickup. So this is kind of what I'm looking at right now. Is one of the things we want to pay attention to, right? As we go down, expect there are some coins here that we'll be paying attention to. The biggest key, as you can see here, and I always say, one of the ways you can check out coins on a lot of these is you go here. Where did it go? Come on, buddy. You are all over the place today. Here we go. Let's do that again. Deck screener.
Oh, there we go. The great graphic machine even has Plume in it. $257 million market cap. $21 million traded in the past 24 hours.
It's pretty dope. Where is Plume here? So you can go here to Deck Screener, pull up the Plume. Let's try this again. Plume. Plume. Boom.
I've got it at 10 cents here.
Yeah, it's around that. But I'm looking for the actual C Unichain. Am I tripping? I thought I saw.
Am I tripping? Pedro says about Plume. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching this and you've traded on Plume, let us know.
Yes.
It's got a big percentage in change in DEX volume according to this graphic Pedro gave me here. It's up. Last 30 days, it's up 1,000%. Now maybe it just launched and it's
And now it's starting to find. Well, they've launched and they're getting going. So it's one of those things I definitely paying attention to. Last week you can see here. As you can see, last week saw a pretty good amount of volume coming last week. We tested that 8-period moving average on the weekly chart, and we stayed green. And so now we're second week of the month. Watch, we're coming down, right? We went up to come down, and watching this potentially could be a good place for, we might see something here kind of pick up. So the fact that there's a lot of people trading this and looking at it is something that I want to be paying attention. And they launched back in January. So to see this kind of increase is one of those things I'm just kind of paying attention to and seeing what's happening in it. So this is one of the ones I want to bring up here. In particular, if you're looking to get a part of this, I would want to be play with it. If it pulls back down into these levels here, that 8-cent area, really what I'm kind of looking at. And boom. So if we pull back, that's kind of like where I would look to be picking up some orders there. But ultimately, this is just keeping an eye on this and seeing what's happening. That's really what we're doing here so that we can gauge if there is going to be a fatty pump off of this, or if something happens, it's just another area for you to pick up something kind of at its infancy. And what is its market cap so far?
I think I was just saying 27 million. Hold on, I just clicked off that screen for a sec. Oops. Yeah, 257 million market cap with 21 million traded in the past 24 hours.
Yeah, so like you said, like it's starting to pick up here. So it's something to just keep an eye on. And if picking at 20 plus milli, it can't hurt you in case, throw a couple bucks in if this thing turns into a billy as a blockchain. Well, lucky you, right? It kind of got in on it at a small market cap level. Again, this has to do a lot with what I'm expecting to see into this bull run as we come in. A couple of weeks ago, we went over, I think it was last week or the week before, we went over a lot of those coins, kind of explaining from a meme coin standpoint what I'm looking at. We'll probably go over that probably tomorrow or Friday, or either tomorrow or Friday, where we can go over those coins and check those things out and see how they're doing. So Plume is one of them. The next one we're going to check out is Vana. It's V-A-N-A.
As in Vanna White?
Vana, well, it just says Vana. And it has this guy right here.
Vanna, up 524% in DEX volume.
Mm-hmm. Tether. Where is the FDUSD, Turkish lira? We were getting some Turkish lira, weren't we, for a while? With what was the?
Yeah, we were. Well, we were getting the Polish zloty.
Yes, zloty. Yes, that's what it was for a while. We could check out this one right here. So this is the perpetual on this, and you can see here on Vanna, kind of selling off here, but you can see here over the last few days as well as weeks, you can see here that there was a bit of a pickup right here. So this caught some attention to a couple other people, so kind of be paying attention here to Vanna. Ultimately, like if I'm going to be looking, I'm always looking to capture the liquidity area. If it sells off, I'm potentially trying to capture it down to at this level here for Vanna. Boom. And we're going to try to run this all the way back up to this upper level here. And how much is Vanna?
$136 million market cap. Only $7 million traded in the past 24 hours. Now, this is traded of their own token. This is not these aren't numbers in volume through their DEX. I'm talking about the actual coin itself for their blockchain.
So again, and I bring this up because Vanna is also another blockchain. You can be popping your head, keeping in the loop with them and seeing anything that could be potentially popping. A lot of these, what I'm looking for is either meme coins, and that should not be happening. I thought I plugged this in. Within the meme coin system, we know how quickly something can get going. So if you're paying attention to a lot of these blockchains that are potentially having volume, you're going to be paying attention to their meme coin side of things. And so you can easily take advantage of that by just jumping in and capturing a quick little rally. I mean, that's what Tom did. What was the meme coin that you got that you took advantage of? That you traded on Mexi?
HUSDT.
HUSDT. And how did you find them?
They were in the Mexi list of tokens that went up the most. And when they go up the most, they're going to go down the most. So I played a little bit of them on the upside, but really waited for them to peak and start selling off. And then just started opening little shorts. And I did that earlier before the show started. I had opened up a small short. And it's up $34 right now on a $5 margin. So.
Nice, dude. Nice. What is that? 5 to 1, 6 to 1? No, it's a 7 to 1.
Yeah.
Nice. Like I said, that's a little home run right there, man. If that thing picks up steam and you start to see it completely fall out, dude, that's going to be a nice little play.
Yeah, it's just slowly deteriorating, and then a little correction goes up again. It deteriorates, 100 points, then it corrects, 60 points, and then it deteriorates another 100 points and corrects 60. It's just, you can see the money's just slowly coming out of it. So just as it gets below your P&L, you just have to keep pulling your stop down.
I love that. It's beautiful. That's actually a good play to play. Nice little play. And these are futures, correct?
Yeah. So I'm using so you can short it easily.
Yeah.
Makes a sense.
Makes sense. All right, guys. So let's check out this next one here. The next one's going to be Kaya. Did you pull that up on your
no, I have
on the
Vanna
graphics?
still up. Right,
Yeah.
hold on.
So I'm kind of waiting for this to kind of pull back just a little bit further. If it does, we'll see it come back down. This is the weekly chart here. So I would expect
you're still on Vanna. Okay, sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, no, you're good. No, I was going to see if you already had Kaya. Hopefully I'm saying it right. Kaya pulled up next. Just give you heads up so you know. So I'm kind of looking between these areas here. If we see it get above this level here, this is going to be a nice little pump. Its all-time high here for Vanna was $23, and it's sitting around $4 right
Whoa, $23! I didn't see that coming.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And so you're talking that could easily be a 5x on a major coin. And I mean, since it's sitting at about 200 milli, or not 200 milli, 20 milli, it'd be a good little area for you. So just kind of keep an eye on this. Let's go ahead and check out the next one here, which is going to be Kaya. You can see here.
Kaya also up 425% in DEX volume. Looking good. Oh,
really
looking
nice.
bad in price though.
Well, you know, when it goes up, most likely it's going to come down. But what we're looking for is the stability part or a potential liquidity area, right, that you could play. And so here is a liquidity area that you could actually play off of this, where if you want to capture some profit on it and then have a little, as I say, little bag to let run, right? A little moon bag here. A nice little pretty moon bag will fit nicely into your paycheck while it hits. So I like this 100-day period moving average at this liquidity area. And so I could expect to see it come down. Which is nice is that you saw that huge explosion here, which is nice, right? This is what brought them attention. I'm pretty sure there's probably some meme coin that came up. This is the perpetual future here. But right here, you could wait for it to come back down here, maybe get a 1x, 2x. The high here is 21x. So you could literally take off maybe even at the 50% mark, where if it gets to 13 and you see it get up to that 17 or 18, take out 50% of your trade or 75% of your trade, and then just kind of leave it there and see what's up. You could buy this on the hard market where you can get the actual coin and then stake it and receive reward in that same sense as well. But ultimately, that's kind of like where we're sitting there. I like this little area right here, though. I'm gonna post a little nice, pretty area right here. We're gonna make that right there. We're gonna have to change that around to make that right there.
What is their actual symbol? Is it the same as their name, KAIA?
I believe so. Yeah, that's what it shows me on. Yeah. And you can see their symbol there as well. So I like this area right in this level here. So I'm kind of waiting for a peaky boo, kind of come back down here to that 100 period and then see it pump like it's hot and see that next leg up, because it was a substantial amount of volume, as you can see. Look at that. Here's the beginning. Look at the beginning volume right here. And then look at this volume. Easily 5 times the amount of volume at this lower level comparatively to what we're seeing here, even at its peak. So that right there is kind of to me, kind of a no-brainer. That's why I'm not waiting for it to kind of come back down to here. I don't think it's going to come back down. I think it'll probably hit that 100 down at this level, and then see some investor is going to step in and say, this already has a huge, or it's got a pretty decent size volume community. I got instant liquidity. I can wait for it to get all the way back up to the top. And then you'll have the late bloomers who goes, oh no, it's going to go to $1 billion or $1 trillion. And then they'll,
$1 trillion.
You know,
$1 quadrillion dollars.
This is the next Bitcoin chain. We're gonna blow out everybody. ETH is gonna be nothing. Our tech is so good, it's light years ahead of everybody out there.
I do have to say, Kaya has nearly $1 billion in market cap now, even after this big big pullback. And what day? What do you got up there? A weekly chart? All right, so they've been around a year or so, or half a year.
Yeah, about a half a year. Yeah.
Well, at least their token or their coin has on this chart. And $14 million 24-hour volume. Not a lot of daily volume as compared to their market cap, but still enough to create a liquid market for it, and keep people interested. Certainly the shorts are interested before, but now it looks like people are seeing the turnaround, getting ready to come. But they obviously, like you always say, the volume needs to come up there.
Let's check out the next one here. It's called NEAR. Now, we actually used to look at NEAR quite a bit, right? And so it's one of those ones that I think I have it down here. We'll pull it up here in just a second. Near, far, wherever you are.
Let's see. Let me bring the great chart up here. NEAR coming in at 15, 14, 13, 12. Actually, it's not 12. It's a 1, 2, 3, fourth largest DEX volume growth. Not total volume, but growth in volume. And NEAR's been around for a while, so the fact that its DEX is growing shows something. So something's going on. Either meme coins have started over there, they've got some real world asset, some AI, some something. The feeling Pedro was about to tell us there.
Well, you can see right here, we've looked at this for a while now. We actually put the line in here way back at this level. So we've been bouncing off of this level here of that 176 here and 154 for a while. And it looks like, I mean, in all reality, you can see here that they've got a lot of volume coming in and coming out. And it's at a nice little level here, a nice little pretty level here that we've been playing. You can see when it came back down, it tapped into this, came back in, tapped down, came down here. And so if we're starting to see some volume step in on this, right, and you can see here it's just kind of consolidating at this level. It's not really falling below this low. This is a good sign potentially that this thing could be kind of pushing up here. So it's one of those things that it's at a low level. We've been waiting. We've talked about this on the show already. My lines were already there. And so I'm really looking, and it looks like we might have been talking about it around February 24, or excuse me, almost 2 years ago here.
Well, it came back down and hit your zones.
Yeah, well, we know that. You know the old saying that when you can be so good at it's not even cool to be cocky anymore. Right.
I'm gonna edit that out.
Please do. Actually, just sounded really arrogant. That wasn't my goal. Boom. But you can see here that it definitely kind of played off our zones, and then from there we saw it kind of come down. So it's better just that we look at this and kind of play off this level. It's nice, it's pretty cheap, and its all-time high is literally $20. So right now it's sitting around a $2 mark. So you can potentially get a 10x off of this. So it's a nice little play to look at here. The next one to be looking at is SCI. I think I might be messing this up.
SCI?
Yeah, SCI.
Yeah, there's another one that its token price came up quickly recently and then retraced just as quickly. And on the futures market, it was great watching it bleed out because we get to make a little monies on it.
Absolutely.
But interest is really strong in this. There's a lot of people talking about this, and I don't mean people getting paid for it. I mean people talking about it with interest.
Yes, and one of the things I want to bring up is you can see here, like let's look at the volume here. The amount of volume that we see here is about the same volume that it had, if not much more than what it was at the big. Why is it's not deleted? Remove. So if you look at the beginning here, right, when you see the sell-off come in, boom, here's the volume at these low levels. As this thing skyrocketed up to its all-time high, which is going to be the $1.14 area, you can see here that they had a good amount of volume in the climb, right? So these people made a lot of money down at these levels. So obviously they were sitting around, I mean, it's crazy. And they got in at 9 cents, got it all the way up to 114-ish. So this area here, it's just this, it's a lot of volume. You can see the amount of volume coming in. Obviously, let it bleed off. People took profits. But the next one here, you can see here that we're seeing a similar situation at this level here. We hit that 400 period moving average right here. We all know how powerful the 400 period moving average is, especially when it is the first time it hits it. And I'm not seeing a huge amount of sell-off on this one. This is the part that's kind of, I'm like, y'all need to pay attention. You're not seeing a major sell-off on this. You're actually seeing the volume step back in, okay? And now it's just consolidating here at this level. And so that consolidation should, because of that 400, we should have seen it fall back even further, and we didn't. So that's why I'm more apt to sit there and say this one might be getting going. And if you look at the last week, you can see here, I mean, when you look at the weekly charts on this one, is that this amount of volume over the last 3 weeks here is a substantial amount. So somebody's looking to make some real cash off of this. And you can already see that it went down for the week. We took the liquidity from the previous week and all those stops. And now it's starting to push back up, and we're watching it starting to pick up here. So pay attention to this, because this is one of those ones that it's like, it could get going. It can find some wings and get going here. So this is one of those ones that I like. I'm looking at as I burp in your ear, forgive me. And as you can see, it's pretty cool. We might see it come down to here, but I think this, it might not play here. It potentially could, we could potentially see this thing get up and go and find some wings and catch some higher highs here, which would be that 70 cents, 73 cents potentially. Because there's really not much. We've got that 50 period moving, or the 89 on the weekly, and then your monthly, you know, you're already closing, you know, you're finding support. You came down at the beginning of the month, and now we're starting to see it go up. So on SI, I'm definitely been looking at this and watching. What about their tech that makes them absolutely just worthy of their talk?
I don't have a clue about that at all. All I know is what. Where's my summary here? All I know is what Gecko's telling me, that it's just another high performance layer 1 blockchain, designed for high frequency trading, and they want to use it as a backbone for real time trading on digital exchanges, because it's fast, its block time is slow, or its block time is fast, its confirmations are fast, and that's what all the new blockchains are saying that now. So I don't know what the differentiator is, other than people really liking it. I mean, I think somehow they started. Let's see, what did someone say? It was a combination of Sui and Solana, and it took the best from both, or something like that.
Sui or Sui?
Sui!
It
took the best from both, and to be honest, I just don't know anything other than that. But they've got plenty of market capital going on here. They've got $1.5 billion in market cap, even though of their token or coin, even though their prices have retraced lately. But they have $123 million in volume. 24 volume, which is a lot. It means it's a very liquid market to trade. As far as I can tell, that first candle there that is just a function of the listing on the exchange, or whatever graph you're on. It didn't tank on opening like that. That happens a lot. With a lot of these tokens. They come on, one little entry error when they're starting it up, and they get the price all wrong, and they can't go back and edit charts, because that would make them not immutable anymore. But if volume stays up there, I would see they're just from a fundamental point of view, the volume stays up and it has the interest and people are talking about it, and people do want to adopt it to help, digital exchanges work better, real world asset things, yada, yada, all that stuff. If they can get those customers, then the price will obviously go up, ladies and gentlemen.
That's
Obviously.
interesting. Should. Keyword is should, right?
Right.
Like, again, but that's why we play multiple things here. Actually, so I just pulled up Grok 3, not Grok 4 yet. But it says the primary meme coin on C. What did I call it?
Whatever it is.
Yeah.
SCI.
Psi. That's what it was. Psi. It's widely recognized as the first and most prominent meme coin in the Psi ecosystem. So it's Cyan, which is the primary meme coin there. And so something we can check out. And I didn't even think about. I should have done this last night, and I didn't. I totally forgot. But Cyan, SEIYAN. I'll send that to you as well, my friend. Nope, I did not want that to happen. Boom. Boom, boom. We're going to pull this up right here. Cyan.
Say that again. SEY.
Yeah, that's Sierra Echo, India.
SEI. Y.
Yeah, Yankee Alpha
yeah.
November. Boom. Pew, pew. All right, give me 1 second. Enough with my pew, pew sounds. Check it out. SEIYAN. There you go. Boom. Liquidity 104,000. Boom. 3 mil. 3 mil. Okay. This one looks fairly good. Boom. Volume is good. Not good, but higher than everything else. Let's check out Cyan. Boom. Or Super Saiyan. Saiyan, not Saiyan. It's not Cyan. Saiyan, or maybe it's Cyan.
I don't know. Just
see, like Super Saiyan. You know what that is? Oh, that was before your time. I was 18 years old, 17 years old. And one of my foster brothers, he was 12 years old, was getting up at 6 o'clock just to watch this cartoon called Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, yeah. Of course, I know who that is. Right.
Yeah. And so Super Saiyan, and they would go Super Saiyan, which was basically them going crazy monkey and destroying worlds. So with that said, you just knew that some 12-year-old kid is waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning just to watch a cartoon. It was going to go somewhere. It wasn't going to be a dead project, or it wasn't going to be dead. So looking at this here, you can actually see here, there's quite a bit of volume here. The only problem is it's so illiquid. You can see here that it's at the most, it literally has, it's $3 million market cap. Your liquidity, and then your 24-hour volume, and then it's negligible. But you can see though it is starting to kind of pump. Let's put on the moving averages. It is showing some strength here though. It's above the 8 period. It pushed above the 50, and we're seeing volume on this drop off on the sell side. So there's not a lot of takers of, it looks like there's more dominant, more buyers here. So this is Psi, primary meme coin here, it looks like. So it's one of those things you could check it out. Make sure you do your own research and check it out. But this is one of the top blockchains right now that are showing a lot of, it's getting a lot of attention. And so this is the meme coin. A lot of love, a lot of attention, a lot of love with the community, within the crypto community. So this is a nice little area to, if you're going to be looking to get in. This is kind of a weekly and a monthly low here off of that 8 period here. You can see last month it did pop above that 8, so it's coming back to retest this area of that 8. Expecting that to pop. It should, because we came down first thing in the month. And the
Go ahead,
next
say it,
low,
Pedro. Pop it like it's hot.
popping it like it's high. We could see this thing get up to 18 cents here within a month. I mean, if this thing really starts to take off. Okay, pop it like it's hot. There you go, right here, man. Looking hot. So that would be the area here that I would definitely be looking at. I like it. And then down at these lower levels here, I would look. Let's check out a weekly. We could pull back to that weekly area here.
Cyanide, stay on at the $3 million market cap. $347,000 in 24-hour volume on the various places that it's traded, but up 7% in the past 24 hours. So you can see from Pedro's chart, it probably got up about 10% there and then just retraced just a little bit.
And you can see how we're seeing a drop off of that volume there. And so even though it's coming down, people are not apt to sell off here. So this is, you could come back down to these areas here where the 8 period is sitting. It's that 33, it's 0.0033 area, 0033 to that 0015. So this nice little pullback area, you can expect it to see. If you start to see volume drop off again on the sell side, I would expect it to see it push back up, especially with the tension that it's getting. So there you go on that one. And we'll say boom. Where are you at? Watch list. We're going to say meme coins. There you go. Boom. Yay. Meme coins.
Well, yeah, Pedro and I haven't spoken a lot about meme coins lately, just because they've been in the dumps. Pump Fund has been getting a lot of grief, and the other launch pads like that have been struggling. Although there's some rumor that Pump Fund might be starting their own token here soon.
Seriously, that would be.
No, that's going to be the biggest pump and dump of all time. That'll be a bigger pump and dump than the Melania token.
Dude, that would, I mean, in all reality, when I think about that could be big though. That's a thing. Is it also could be big. It might just be just like when you think about like legacy blockchains, right? Because they have just so much volume there and so much nostalgia that, you know, people just keep collecting. People trade on just because it's just familiar to them. Same thing when it comes to Pump Fund. So I could totally see that actually happening. The only thing I could see really going wrong is that just from a political standpoint, they could get their face smashed because of regulators, because they've already gotten in trouble, right? So it's like I could just see, you know, them just getting smashed because you already have what was it? Why am I forgetting what it's called? The UK stepped in and was like, nah, dog, like you guys ain't cool. And then you also had half of Europe saying, nah, dog, shoot, you guys trying to screw over our population. So it's like this, right? So you could see just almost like if they come up with their coin and it changes, you know, then the legislation is always slower than innovation. So they could create a whole entire blockchain system that makes it easier for you to actually, I mean, you could do that, right? Like that would be kind of a smart thing for them to do. And so they can pull off of Solana and create their own layer 1 and then just start the whole entire casino all over again. So I guess they could do that. It's just crazy to think about. Especially when I start to think about the amount of money that they made. I mean, it was millions of pure profit, right? Because it was just fees that they were collecting.
Yep.
So it's just like one of those things you're just like, man, this thing could get going. Anyways, we digress. We've had a lot of digressions today. All right, Aptos. We've talked about Aptos here multiple times. Let's pull it up. I still look at Aptos quite a bit. I'm always paying attention to it because it was one of those ones that was just like everybody and their mama was talking about it.
Aptos. Let's see what they have. Let's
see
what they have to say here.
So last time I looked at it was back here. Where's my other chart? Oh, it's the one I deleted. I deleted the wrong one. Okay.
Aptos sitting at a $3 billion market cap. $171 million traded in the past 24 hours, up 1.6%. Volume is low. Oh, you have the weekly chart, so I can't really tell, but volume's consistent the past 3 months.
I've seen a bit of an increase. The increase was about 69% last month that we saw it go up. 69, dude. Anyway, sorry. Anybody know that's from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure?
Excellent.
Party on, dude. No, that was in Wayne's World.
Yeah, Wayne's World.
Party time. Excellent.
More siren. We need a siren counter per show. I'm on siren number 5 now for this one show.
Yeah. Lord be with them. Right now they're having the worst day of their life. Somebody is. All right. You can see here, one of the things I just want to bring up is that we are seeing a lot of demand wicks as we're coming down into this zone area that I've marked out here. So this area, you can see that people are definitely buying because look, boom. I mean, month after month, people have been buying at these low levels. And yeah, it's interesting. Amount of volume, though, I would expect it to be a little bit more. But ultimately, from a monthly standpoint, it looks good. On a weekly standpoint, you are seeing a step up in volume back here. And then, yeah, you can see there a good amount of volume come in. So, yeah, there are definitely people stepping in and buying this at this low level. Where could it go for a quick, easy run? It could get up to the 860 area. What's their market cap?
$3 billion. $3 billion. 171 million traded. Pretty good liquidity from a daily volume level.
Yeah, you could see this thing come playing around at that 4. It could get up to the 7 cent area. $7 area. So sitting around the 450 right now. That first real area that we're going to see resistance come in is going to be up at that 781 to the 840 area here. And then it'll probably pull back a little bit more, kind of come back up and then pull up and go down. I'm wondering what is on Aptos, what is their primary app? Let me see this. Give me one.
Another high performance proof of stake layer 1 project focused on delivering the safest and most scalable layer 1 blockchain in the world. Aptos blockchain leverages the Move programming language and the Move virtual machine for application development, which are created and optimized for blockchain use cases. The team is comprised of original creators, researchers, designers, and builders of Diem, the blockchain that was first built to serve this purpose. Aptos raised $200 million from A16Z, Multicoin, Binance, and others. Oh.
Yeah, I remember when it came out, it was a big deal. A lot of people were on it. Remember, it shot up, and I was talking with somebody. I said, man, the problem is it shot up, straight up, without no, real stopping. I go,
whoa, look at that
one. First came out. Yeah, I remember it just shot up. And I said, this thing's coming back down to the low, because this was literally within a minute, just shot up. And he's like, no, man, this thing's going to continue. And for these first few days, he kept sending me screenshots. I remember this, and then it just started dropping. And I said, man, I'm telling you, it's coming back down to the lows because there's no real support there. And it's, as I always say, it price discovers. It wants to see where people are willing to stop buying this. And then it creates the demand for it. And then from there, it keeps going up. And so you can see there, their primary meme coin, the primary meme coin on Aptos blockchain is called DoDo. That's Delta Echo. No, excuse me. Delta Oscar Oscar Delta Oscar Oscar. It's literally the meme coin called DoDo. It holds the largest market cap among Aptos meme coins at 27 milli and has a passionate community with over 20,000 followers on X and 16,000+ token holders. So that's something to be paying attention to. Do for you guys. Let's check them out here real quick. Do. There you go.
Like dodo bird.
Yeah, dodo.
Or doo-doo like pile of dew.
Like dookie. Like,
well, it means their shit coin is literally a shit coin.
Literally. But what's cool about it is that it's been around for a minute. So there's a lot of good liquidity pools you can see here on it. And you can see it's basically sitting at about that 5.1 milli. Liquidity is sitting at 297,000 there. The 24-hour volume is not there. It's market cap 5 mil. Ooh.
Let's see if the great graphics machine can pull anything up here. Oh, that chart looks terrible.
Oh yeah, that one's
all right, but I'm clearly I've got a 0 market cap here, so
yeah. Well, we'll leave this one alone. During this next bull run might see a liveness to it, but we'll see what happens. But again, do right here. There you guys go.
Nothing but
all right. It's the main meme coin on the blockchain of Aptos. The next one, I think what's really interesting here is chain flip. Now, chain flip, what I thought was really interesting is that it just tells you in the name, like, yeah, we there ain't no qualms with this. We just want you to flip us and make some money, which I thought was real interesting. Chain flip labs. Boom, where are you at? Flip USDT tether. Yeah, we're gonna have to stick with this. And did you capture this one, or do you know anything about it?
Yeah, it's. Well, hold on, the great graphic machine is trying to update. Oop, failed. Need to run it again. That's weird. Let's see. Here it goes. I got nothing. Hold on a sec. Why do I have nothing here? Let's look at the... Because I spelled chain flip wrong. That's why.
It happens. I know that. I know that struggle. I know that struggle too well. Dude, once they came out with the text to speech, you know, my spelling, like, you think my spelling's bad now, bro. Like, I didn't even know the difference between how to write something down and to say that somebody was right, and then how to make a right turn. like I was like, when I remember I had this, I had a friend of mine, he was a pastor, and he was like, he would make fun of me. He's like, how do you write something down? And how do you write right? And I was like, at first I was like, R-I-T-E or R-I-G-H-T. And then I was like, wait, is it R-I-T-E? Or is it W-R-I-T-E? Or is it R-I-G-H-T? like, and half the time I couldn't even just spell it. So I was like, but then once text to speech came out, I was like, oh, that's dope. Okay. So you can only imagine the struggle with that one was real. And even just sitting there and trying to put it to mind, even in like the grammar books, like of me learning how to like overcome that, it still didn't make sense to me. I'd be like,
anyway, chain flip, 21 million market cap, and a little over 1 million in daily volume, which is pretty good. It's about 5% of the market cap being turned over every day. Right, 5%. Yeah, about 5%.
And what's nice about it is I'm looking at this right now. It's actually on this another leg up here, looking at flip here, and we could see this thing kind of pick up and get from like that 33 cents kind of up to that 41 cents pretty easy. We're watching it right now. I mean, it's so far away from the monthly 8. I mean, monthly 8 sitting at 68. And then your weekly A is sitting at that 37. And right now, it's like, it's kind of playing off of that. So you could sit there and kind of capture this this next rally up from that 33 cents all the way up to that 37 cents, which is a quick little, I mean, that's 10% rally right there at least, from here to the next resistance level of that daily. And that monthly, and that's sitting around that 36, 38 area here. So I'm going to post that, put that up there. Nice little play there off of this. And then, you know, take your profit and then leave a nice little, what's the word I want to use?
Runner?
Runner. Moonbag.
Moonbag.
Moonbag. Yep. Right up in this level where that 100 period moving average is sitting. Like we could even see pick up and blow through that 37 area and get up to that 40 cents, which would basically be about 20% increase right there, 20-30%. Yeah, man, that's a nice little play there for a flip. And then we can check out. Let's check out their primary coin on flip chain. Is this also a trading algorithm blockchain?
Let's see. Oh, sorry, my brain had moved off of chain flip. Chain flip, decentralized trustless protocol allows users to easily exchange cryptocurrency assets across a range of networks and blockchains without losing custody of their assets. Chain flip, oh, I get it now. Chain flip, right. Allows users to swap assets between major blockchains without any wrapped tokens, traditional bridging, and extremely competitive pricing using a novel and unique just-in-time based automated what can go wrong with a just-in-time based automated market maker? Dubbed the JIT AMM. Every one of those relies on an oracle of some sort, and every one of those, that's how the Titan stablecoin crashed. Their oracle just couldn't update as fast as the market could trade. Some of these blockchains that they flip to, their block is faster than a lot of oracles can update. It's a tough one. Be wary of how they. I may not be understanding how chain flip works. But when they say it relies on just-in-time type stuff, time can be manipulated in the great blockchain sphere. Anyway, Pedro, as you've been going each one, I've been taking a screenshot and tweeting out to those particular communities that we're going over them. And the spot in the show, like, saying, hey, it starts an hour and 10 minutes. This one starts an hour and 20 minutes into it.
Nice. That's actually really cool. Thanks.
Anyway, the protocol is secured by a set of 150 validators staking Chainflip's native Flip token. Flip is primarily used as a utility token. Validators require Flip to stake and in turn are rewarded in Flip.
That's really interesting. So GOAT, GOAT, USD, that would be common spelling GO, Golf, Oscar, Alpha, Tango. And it's, I believe this is the Godius Maximus. Is the, let's see if I can pull this up correctly. It's not the one that I am seeing. It's logo.
Goat chain?
Yeah, well, I'm assuming you can see the
That's the one.
the JPEG I sent you. GOAT.
Goat protocol?
Maybe it's protocol. I'm just trying to see. All I see is Godius Maximus.
Hold on, let me just look at the logo
Talking
here.
about
Goat
this thing.
is a V.
Yeah. Oh, came right down to my area. Nice. This thing, I remember watching this thing get all the way up to $1 billion.
Are we looking at Godius Maximus?
Yeah.
And why don't we just skip the goat chain altogether?
We'll go for it now. We'll go to another one. All right, Polygon. Obviously, we saw Polygon kind of pick up with, we went over that earlier, but we can actually go over it again, Poly.
Are they, their price moving here in the past day or so?
Where are you at, Poly? Matic, sorry. Yeah, definitely, man. We definitely saw them over this past week just kind of pick up. You can see here yesterday, man, you saw a huge explosion. We came down to our area here over this past week, and we've talked about it kind of pushing up from this level here. If it breaks through, we're getting down to that 9 cents. But you can see somebody came in and said, "Not on my watch," and they bought it up all the way up to our area. I probably should remove some of these zones here.
Now, is that candle yesterday? Is that just a giant wick, or is that a candle, or is that a body?
No, that's a giant wick. Let's see here real quick what happened on the inner time play here. Yeah, so it looks like somebody came in and just maybe fat fingered it accidentally. It looks like
That's exactly what that looks like. They bought the wrong thing.
What it was probably Trump's organization was like, "Are we gonna buy Poly?" "Yeah, I think we're gonna buy Poly." "All right, cool." And then Trump says like, "What's Poly?" And then the other one's like, "Oh, it's some blockchain made in America. Buy it." And then find out, wait, it's not? Sell it.
I'm guessing someone went to the wrong chart and bought something. And that happened to a project I was watching once that had it was an American-based project, and a China-based project came out of nowhere with kind of the same name, and it went absolutely berserk. And the one project was a 10% tax token, just regular old school SafeMoon style. And the new one was not. It was like part of a DEX utility token, quite a complicated thing. And all of a sudden, the volume on the original token just went boom, like that. It wasn't even the same chain. It was, in order to make that mistake, you had to be a drastic error. And some guy came in and dropped like $50,000 on it. And so the round trip cost him 10%, lost $5,000 just buying it. Then he realized like 2 minutes later he bought the wrong one and sold it, but there was a 5% in and out tax, so he lost 10%.
Yeah, every dead coin would love that. Like, we got 50,000 or we got $5,000. Yeah, we're going to Ibiza where we're gonna get.
You're going to Ibiza. All right, let's move on to B&B real quick. We're starting to run thin on time here.
Oh, I see right here, right? Yeah. So let's check out B&B. B&B is playing quite nicely, like we've talked about already. I'm expecting it again. I think we're gonna see it pick up. I really do. We're staying above that 8 period. I thought we were gonna sell off. I really thought we were gonna sell off, but man, we're not. And so I've got to change my mindset. You know what I'm saying? Like if the market's not going down, I gotta, the market's always right.
All right, Pedro, we've already talked about B&B, but you know what we haven't? You know what we haven't talked about? How thirsty I am.
Oh, tell me.
I'm pretty thirsty right now, and I'm a little tired too. So I could think I could have a little caffeine to help me up. In fact, I probably would like to have a little 1775 coffee, if you know what I mean.
Oh, really? Talk to me. Ooh, that sounds hot. Oh yeah.
It's definitely hot. Anyway, if you still not tried 1775 coffee, now's your shot. The 1775 coffee starter kit just dropped. Only 1,000 units. Yep, scarce, just like Bitcoin. You're getting the bold, dark roast that hits harder than a CNN fact check, the smooth, medium roast, and the Vitality Mushroom Coffee for clean energy and laser focus. No crash. No. All single origin, small batch, toxin-free, and mold-free. Plus, you're also getting, and here is my favorite part, a gold spoon clip. Because freedom isn't scooped with plastic, ladies and gentlemen. Nope, it's not. Nope. You're also getting a frother strong enough to stir up your coffee and your mother-in-law's political opinions. Yep. That's how good this stuff is.
Witch out of here.
And you're also getting a black 1775 tumbler that says, I don't take life advice or caffeine from a woke sea witch. Nope. No woke sea witches here. Part. Anyway, you're getting $170 worth of coffee and gear, yours for $99. This is for the ones who've been watching 1775 blow up on Rumble, wondering if it's actually worth it. Spoiler, it is. Go to 1775coffee.com/studio and grab your starter kit before they're gone. Bold beans, clean fuel, and a morning routine that stands for something, just like Rumble does. Start your day with coffee that actually backs what you believe. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. 1775coffee.com/studio and grab your starter kit before they're gone. Remember this QR code right next to me right here? Please click that as a viewer of our show. Please let our advertisers know that you are interactive and are interested in at least viewing the web page it takes you to. Trust me, it helps us out a lot. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you hit 1775coffee.com.
Love this, the old C woman bridge. Come on now. All right, so we can see here that I'm on Story, and it's IP is the actual, looks like it's, STORY, and it's looking pretty good, man, honestly. Like
Story blockchain.
Yeah, Story blockchain. You can see here over the last few weeks, or last few days, you saw a pickup in volume, and then on the seller, on the sell-off, you're seeing a lot less volume of the sellers here. You can see here, people definitely bought in at this level here. I just put this zone right here. But yeah, it's looking fairly strong. It's consolidating, and you're seeing a lot more buyers step in. And then when the sellers step in, it's just weak. And so that if I'm a trader, if I'm sitting there and go like, well, what is my capital? How far could that go up? I'm buying it at like that $3 to get up and to really see it get going. And we all know FOMO, right? Like once this thing breaks high and it starts to catch FOMO, it doesn't matter who you are, you jumping in, right? Like as everybody knows in crypto, like that thing could send and it may just be a pile of malarkey, but you don't know how far it's going to go. So get in while it's pumping. Well, what do you know about Story here, if you don't mind me asking?
Interestingly enough, Story is called Story IP. Story tokenizes any type of intellectual property, whether it's an idea, an image, or real-world asset, a song, an AI model, or an NFT, in between, that sentence ended quickly, by embedding usage terms, attribution, and royalty agreements directly into the blockchain, Story provides a transparent, decentralized solution for IP management. Enables IP holders to protect their work, collaborate on IP seamlessly, and unlock revenue opportunities in an AI-powered economy. Where can you buy Story? Yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. Great idea. Great idea. I love the idea of tokenizing intellectual property, especially songs and that type of stuff. Pedro, one of the big problems in the music industry,
how do you enforce it?
Is that artists no longer have direct communication with their fans because Spotify, Rhapsody, Apple Music, and all has that link to who the fans actually are. And the only way to do it is to set up separate fan clubs. But if 20 million people listen to Striking Soliloquies, my fan club on my website only has 100,000 people. So you're not getting everybody. But these types of things, I think, are a good way to do it. And as they become have better adoption, it'll work better. And I've had a number of cases. We've had guests on the show that have talked about it. And I believe that those are great ways for artists, first of all, to continue to make residual money. But two, to eliminate 50,000 layers of problems and lawyers and administrators and rights holders and all this type of stuff out of the middle. So Story, hopefully they get their little machine going here, get going. But they're going to the tune of $864 million market cap right now, though, Pedro, with a 24 million in 24-hour in 1 day's trading. So that's a lot.
Yeah,
it's a lot. They're at $3 right now. Their high, I can't see what their high was on there.
Oh, high is $7.99. So I figured, it could pop. With only you said a $3 billion, and they are basically dealing with real world ass.
864 million. 864 million.
I don't know why I got picked up. So it's less than $1 billion right
now.
And if this thing was to really take off, and you see artists run to this, and I'm only assuming that artists are already running to it. I know, like I try to do humor, and I would love to be able to take my humor. If we build up a huge enough crowd here and they actually like my humor, well, probably not gonna happen. I don't even know why I even said that. Whatever. Anyways, so no, just joking. But like on the end, wouldn't it be dope to be able to sit there and go on this site and be like, Rumble doesn't have access to this. Only we do because we placed it on Story. Hey. Anyways, but yeah, that's actually pretty dope. I actually like that. Like you said, you love for the artists to actually really connect with their fan base. And the other part behind it as well is just the connection, right? When you really connect with your audience, like when when we've gone to different types of events, we connect with some of the people that watch us, and it's just cool to sit there like, hey man, what's up? And that, I think that's just cool for them to actually be able to hold true rights based off the blockchain versus selling their soul to the devil.
Selling it to the man. Let me see. I'm trying to get I'm trying to tweet this out here.
I got these new shorts, man, and they're just like so loud. Like every time I move, I'm like, they're like,
they don't have their social media game. Well, CoinGecko.
Give me 1 second. I'll jump back here. But I have a business partner who's reaching out to me. So give me 1 second. I'll be back, guys. I apologize.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Pedro and I are talking. Pedro, your microphone's still on. Let me turn that off. Getting to the end of the show here, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a couple of more blockchains to talk about. But safe to say, getting pretty thin here. Oh, that's funny, Pedro. Oh, flips one. Oh, it's all right.
I gotcha. All right. Well, thank you guys for coming in. We'll probably be going over a lot of those meme coins that we talked about a few weeks ago tomorrow, and then just the typical news and what's happening in the market. Tomorrow we've got some big news coming in though, in relationship to traditional finance news. And I forget the actual news itself. So give me 1 second. But
I've already clicked off those screens, but we can move on past that. What was I trying to click here?
economic calendar.
I already got the kick tracks playing.
Excellent. Excellent. So tomorrow we've got here it is. Got it right here. We got initial jobless claims for the month of June. Yep, for the month of June. So we'll see what goes on there. And it's going to be really interesting to see what happens. Are they going to just say great market because a lot of municipalities and states and are hiring governments, or the governments are hiring the people who kind of lost jobs? And so are they going to, again, resound that, or are they actually going to give the truth? And that's going to be really interesting to see what actually happens moving forward here. I hope that they tell an honest side of things instead of spinning it, as our sister show always says, the spin zone. So, yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's all we got for you today. Tomorrow we're going to be on a little bit earlier than normal. I have an afternoon engagement I need to take care of. Pedro, I'll talk to you later today about that, but probably at least an hour earlier and maybe a shorter show.
No worries.
But anyway, thanks a lot to everyone. Thanks to Brandon Commando for watching it. It was just Pedro's microphone doing its weird thing for a little bit, but all is good. We had a great show today. Thank you for joining us, everybody. I hope everyone has a great time. Once again, my name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking. Man in the box next to me is Pedro Garcia, the crypto chart analyst. Thank you to 1775 Coffee for being a segment sponsor today. And thank you to Rumble for running those ads for us. So anyway, we'll see you tomorrow, so be there.